Welcome to the Advancing Excellence podcast. In this episode, we explore how to make old content feel new again while extending its reach to audiences you may have never considered. Join me as we begin the podcast.
Welcome to the Advancing Excellence podcast, where we explore practical strategies to elevate your professional performance. I'm your host, Janice Kleins, Marketing Manager at AOE. Today, we're diving into a marketing approach that can revolutionize how you think about content creation. Content repurposing. If you've ever felt overwhelmed by the constant demand for fresh content, or if you're working with tight budgets and even tighter deadlines, this episode is for you. We're going to explore how to make your old content feel new again while extending its reach to audiences you may have never considered. By the end of this episode, you'll have a clear strategy for maximizing every piece of content you've already created, saving time while boosting your marketing results. So let's jump right in and discover how content repurposing can become your secret weapon for marketing success. Let's start with a reality check. Most marketing professionals are overworked and dealing with tight budgets. Sound familiar? The pressure to constantly create fresh content can feel overwhelming. But here's what I've learned. Content repurposing is one of those strategies that delivers significant results with minimal additional investment. Instead of constantly creating new material from scratch, you can transform existing content to reach different audiences and extend its lifespan. Think of it as getting maximum exposure from what you've already produced. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Won't recycling content bore my audience? They've already seen this stuff. That's a common concern. But here's the thing. Repurposing ensures your audience won't miss valuable content. And for those who saw the original, you can present a fresh perspective that makes the material feel completely new again. The key is strategic transformation, not simple duplication. Let me explain how changing the medium helps you reach new audiences. Different people consume content through different channels and formats. By adding a timely photo, video, or infographic to existing written content, you can make that material relevant to new platforms and demographics. For example, a detailed blog post about construction safety might become an engaging video series, reaching visual learners who wouldn't have engaged with the original text. You're essentially meeting people where they prefer to consume information. So when you decide to repurpose content, how do you choose which materials to reuse? Focus on evergreen topics, subjects your industry will always find relevant. Seasonal advice remains valuable year after year. In construction, for instance, hot weather and cold weather techniques get shared every season change because they're consistently useful. You can also use Google Analytics to identify your most popular posts. These demonstrate proven audience interests, making them prime candidates for repurposing. But here's an important caveat. The content must remain factual and relevant. Information that has become outdated or inaccurate shouldn't be repurposed. However, foundational concepts and best practices often retain their value over time. Once you've identified suitable content, what transformation strategies should you consider? There are numerous approaches that require minimal editing. You can convert webinars into Facebook or LinkedIn Live videos to reach new viewers. Post short content snippets with images on social media, linking back to the full material on your website. Transform email campaigns into blog posts or vice versa. These are straightforward conversions that don't require starting from scratch. For more substantial transformations, consider compiling popular blog posts into downloadable ebooks for lead generation. Transform brochures or press releases into featured articles or case studies that you can pitch to editors. Generate infographics or slideshows using statistics and graphics from existing articles and brochures. You'll notice I'm suggesting both simplifying and combining content. How do you determine which direction to take? It depends on your goals and audience preferences. Breaking content into smaller pieces works well for social media engagement, while combining materials creates more comprehensive resources for lead generation. Consider where your audience spends time and what formats they value most. Let me share something that works exceptionally well. Extracting key takeaways to create lists. Top 10 lists and how-to guides perform incredibly well because they're easily digestible and shareable. People appreciate condensed information that delivers immediate value. These formats also work across multiple platforms. They succeed as blog posts, social media content, and email newsletter features. You're creating once and using multiple times, which is exactly what smart content strategy looks like. Now let's talk about proactive repurposing. How can you plan for future reuse from the beginning? When crafting content, structure it for easy breakdown. Use subheads, bulleted lists, sidebars, and visual elements to create natural separation points. This allows you to extract smaller chunks later and deliver them to specific audience segments through their preferred communication channels. You're essentially future-proofing your content creation process. There's something important about timing. Don't hesitate to republish content on social media. Social media algorithms and user volume means posts get blurred quickly in followers' feeds. Repetition across multiple channels isn't just acceptable, it's necessary for maximum reach. Take advantage of established hashtags like hashtag Flashback Friday and hashtag Throwback Thursday to promote your past projects and older website content. This approach saves time while keeping your social media feeds active and engaging. Beyond efficiency, content repurposing provides other significant benefits. It keeps your company name and calls to action in front of your target audience without significant time and money investment. You're reinforcing key messages while reaching people who missed the original content or need repeated exposure before taking action. Now, you might be concerned that repurposing appears lazy or unoriginal. Here's my perspective. Quality repurposing requires creativity and strategic thinking. You're not simply copying content, you're adapting it for different contexts, audiences, and purposes. This process often reveals new insights and applications that weren't apparent in the original format. Let's talk about measuring success. Monitor engagement metrics across different platforms and formats. Compare performance between original and repurposed versions. Track lead generation from compiled materials like ebooks. Most importantly, measure whether repurposed content is reaching new audience segments. For teams just beginning content repurposing, start with your highest performing content in one simple transformation. Convert a popular blog post into a social media series, or create an infographic from a data reach article. Success with small projects builds confidence and demonstrates value to stakeholders. What obstacles do marketing teams typically encounter? Common challenges include perfectionism, wanting every repurposed piece to be completely original, and concerns about audience reaction. Teams also struggle with systematic approaches, repurposing randomly rather than strategically. How do you overcome these obstacles? Establish clear repurposing guidelines and workflows. Accept that repurposed content does not need to be perfect. It needs to be valuable. Focus on serving your audience rather than impressing them with constant originality. Here's my final recommendation for organizations looking to maximize their content investment. View repurposing as a core component of content strategy, not an afterthought. Plan for reuse from the beginning. Maintain a content inventory to identify repurposing opportunities, and remember that good information deserves multiple chances to reach and help your audience. Content repurposing isn't about being lazy, it's about being smart. It's about recognizing that your best insights and most valuable information shouldn't be limited to a single format or a single moment in time. When you repurpose strategically, you're ensuring that your expertise reaches as many people as possible in the ways they prefer to consume information. Start small, be consistent, and watch as your content investment pays dividends across multiple platforms and audiences. Your future self will thank you for building this systematic approach to content strategy. That's a wrap on today's episode of Advancing Excellence. If this was helpful, please subscribe to our podcast and leave us a review. For more information about our services, opportunities, and cultures, visit our website at aoeteam.com. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time as we continue advancing excellence together.
Thank you for listening to today's episode of the Advancing Excellence podcast. If you have any comments or questions, please get in touch with us at info@aoeteam.com. Don't forget to follow AOE on LinkedIn at Advancing Organizational Excellence, and be sure to subscribe to this podcast so you never miss an episode.